Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I will let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the Wolf Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Owl.
No one knows just how this wolf, big bad wolf thing got started, but it is all wrong. Maybe it is because wolves eat cut little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That is just the way they are. If cheeseburgers were cut, folks would probably think people were big and bad too. But the wolf, big bad, think he is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. Way back in once upon a time, our friend the wolf was making a birthday cake for his dear Granny. He had a terrible sneezing cold. He had run of sugar. So he walked down the street to ask his neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? Who in his right mind would build a house of straw? So, of course, the minute the wolf knocked on the door, it flew right in, and they didn't want to just walk in someone else's house. So he called,
Little pig, are you in?
No answer. He was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for his dear old Granny's birthday cake. That's when his nose started to itch.
Achoo!
He felt a sneezing coming on. Well, he huffed and he snuffed and he sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what? That old dirt straw house fell down, and right in the middle, the pile of straw was the first little pig dead as doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so the wolf ate it up. Think of it as big cheeseburger just lying there. He was feeling a little bad, but they still didn't have his cup of sugar. So he went to the next neighbor house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. He rang the bell on the stick house.
Ding dong.
Nobody answered. He called.
Mr. Pig, oh Mr. Pig, are you in?
He yelled back.
Go away, Wolf. You can't come here. I'm shaving the hairs on my shin. Shin.
He had grabbed the door knob when they felt another sneeze come on. He huffed and he snuffed, and they tried to cover his mouth, but they sneezed and great sneeze.
Achoo!
And you are not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, the road the second little pig did as doornail. Now you know food will spoil if you leave it out in the open. So the wolf did the only thing there was to do. He had dinner again. Think of it a second help. He was getting awfully full, but his cold was feeling a little better. And he still didn't have that cup of sugar of the dear old Granny birthday. So the wolf went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house of bricks. He wolf knocked on the brick house, no answer.
Mr. Pig! Mr. Pig! Are you in?
And do you know what that rude little porker answered?
Get out here, Wolf. Don't bother me again.
Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sackful of sugar, and he wouldn't give the wolf even one little cup of his dear sweet old grand's birthday cake. What a pig! The wolf was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when he felt his coat coming on. He huffed and he smuffed and he sneezed once again.
Achoo!
Then the third little pig yelled.
And our granny can sit on a pin.
The wolf was usually a pretty calm fellow, but when he heard somebody talk about his dear, sweet old granny like that, he went a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course he was trying to break down his pig's door. And the whole time the wolf was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs he had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story without that huff and puff and blow your house down stuff. And they made him the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story.
I was framed.
But maybe you could blow him a cup of sugar.